Hello, friends. It's so good to be here. I wanted to step into today with my book, The Bracelet. This is a allegory that I use in my chapter book. I'm holding it up for those of you who are watching me. And it's also how I have conversations in my coaching conversations. So my clients will come to the calls with me and say, "Hey, I need help with my bracelet today. I need help with finding my tire swing. I need help finding my star time. And I need help with balancing bracelets." And you'll understand more of what this means as I read the allegory to you. But I just wanted to loop you all in and share it with you, read to you what this whole allegory is and how this shapes a little bit more of our paradigm in life as we hear so much about work-life balance and stepping into our life and our best life. It's all about understanding what it is that we need to fuel our kind of our inner cups. We can either drain them or we can fill them up. Or even if we want to use the idea of how do we fill our gas tank so that we can keep moving forward in life. There's things we need to do. We need to balance the responsibilities we have in our life. And these are what I call bracelets. And then we also need to give ourselves time to do restorative rest. And there's two ways that we do restorative rest. The first way is active rest, which I show in the story of the tire swing. And the second way is contemplative rest, which I use the star time. So join me here. Just kind of lean back, maybe take off your shoes, put your feet up, heck, lie on the floor if you want to, get a pillow. Relax and have a little bit of story time here because I'd love to read this book to you. So here it is, the bracelet. Is the illustrations. I'll hold it up for those of you who are watching. Those of you who are listening, you can listen to this. But I dedicate it to Selah, my daughter, years ago when I first wrote this. My sweet, strong, and sensitive daughter, you are one of the best gifts I've ever received. This book was always meant for you, for us. Please remember, you are the dazzling author of your own story, Mom. And as a mother, I wanted my girl to feel the permission to understand how to balance her bracelets and how to just step into her best life with nothing holding her back, but also with the wisdom. There once was a little girl. She loved to play outside. She would watch the birds in their nest, hunt for eggs, create little clubs with her friends on the Great Rock, and design all kinds of beautiful art. And at night, she would sneak outside to lie on her back and watch the stars. In the summer months, she would run through the grass barefoot and make up games to play in the evening with her friends. But her favorite enjoyment was swinging from the great tree on her tire swing. She would climb the hill to the tree where her tire swing awaited, and as it carried her back and forth, she would throw her head back and feel the breeze on her face and let it blow her hair. And in these moments, she felt most free. The little girl was gentle and kind, yet passionate and wild. Then one day, she received a special gift from someone who loved her very much. The giver solemnly handed her a beautifully wrapped box, and as she opened it, the giver explained the great honor bestowed upon her. It was a beautiful gold bracelet to be worn by the little girl at all times. For you see, the little girl was growing up and could now handle the responsibility that came with this beautiful gift. The giver wanted the little girl to feel loved and know her invaluable beauty. And with this gift came the understanding to honor both the giver and herself by wearing it at all times. The little girl took this responsibility very seriously, and she loved her gold bracelet. She would watch it shimmer and shine in the sun, and she would fall asleep holding it as it rested on her arm. She felt loved, noticed, valuable, and cherished. As the little girl grew, there were many givers in her life, and with each passing season, she received more and more bracelets from givers who loved her and from those that wanted her love. Her arms grew heavy from the bracelets, and soon she had to stop running barefoot through the grass or playing on her beloved tire swing. As winter faded into spring, The little girl grew into a young woman, and with this passing, there was great celebration, with many more bracelets given her. As she opened the many bracelets, she began to feel her joy fade. She realized that each giver expected her to wear their gift at all times. She continued to smile and thank the givers, but inside she began to grow fearful. She was fearful of dishonoring the givers, and she was weary from the responsibility of wearing so many bracelets on her arms. Already her arms felt heavy, and with each added bracelet, she was able to do less and less. But not wanting to hurt the givers, she continued to smile and slide the bracelets up past her elbows. And the givers all nodded with pleasure as they smiled great smiles. One day, as she was quiet and alone in her room, a beautiful bird outside her window caught her eye, and she longed to run outside. She wanted to follow the bird to find out where it lived, just as she had done often when she was young. A forgotten longing stirred deep within her. As she ran outside to explore, she stopped short from the weight of all her bracelets. With a deep sadness, she stared after the bird until it was a small speck in the distance. After standing still in the sun for a long while, she finally turned back. She tried again the next day, when the longing rose and she thought of her tire swing. She made it to the top of the hill, but was unable to swing because of her bracelets. After other attempts, she stopped trying. It was impossible to do what she loved with the many bracelets. However, she dared not take them off, for she did not want to dishonor her givers, and she liked how they had begun to make her feel valuable, cherished, and loved. Who was she without her bracelets? She no longer knew. The young woman became dutiful to the expectations of others and continued to wear the bracelets as she tried to take comfort in her responsibility. She stopped looking out the window. She stopped going outside. She stopped dreaming of beautiful things. She stopped playing. She stopped feeling free. She looked to her givers for love and approval, and on the inside, she began to disappear. No one wanted the little girl who ran free and wild. No one misses her, she thought. I must be a woman with many bracelets because this is who people love. This is now who I am. So the young woman became embarrassed of who she was as a little girl, and collected more and more bracelets to hide who she had been. She even began to give them to herself. But with each passing season, the sadness within her grew until she could contain it no longer. She longed to stop disappearing, and she longed to be free again. But most importantly, she longed to be cherished for who she was before she had been given all the bracelets. One night, she sneaked outside and lay under the stars, and as she rested there, she heard a voice on the wind. Take off your bracelets. I did not give them to you. Who are you? The woman cried. I am the giver of life, responded the voice. I give all and I create all. I created you without bracelets and I never gave you any. Instead, I gave you your spirit. It is a spirit that is wild, tender, gentle, and free. Take off your bracelets, for they dishonor the greatest gift you have ever been given, your beautiful free spirit, and they dishonor me, spoke the gentle voice on the wind. It was then that the woman realized she had a choice to make. Shall I take the bracelets off and risk the displeasure of many, she thought? Or shall I honor my beautiful spirit and seek the pleasure of the greatest giver of all? And with that thought, the weary woman fell asleep under the stars, asking the giver of all good things to give her the courage to love her greatest gift of all, her spirit. So this is a allegory that I love because it's simple, and its simplicity helps us talk about the complexity of sometimes a world that's gone mad. How do we take our life back? How do we take our power back? How do we take our beautiful spirit that feels free. How do we balance all the responsibilities? How do we balance all those bracelets? When does it get to be too much? This is a call for every individual to really own their own fulfillment and to recognize they get to do something about the bracelets that they're carrying. They get to decide who their givers are. They get to decide if they want to take them off. And they get to start recognizing if they're starting to disappear on the inside. And how we do that is making sure that we return to our tire swings. When I work with clients, I ask them, what did you do when you were young? One of my favorite things that I did when I was a child was I loved a great story, a great novel, and I loved having a cozy place to read it, and I would get lost in it. In some of my weariest moments in life, I realized I had stopped reading stories and novels. That was my tire swing. I also loved nature. I loved getting out in nature and just exploring. And I can feel myself come back alive when I get out in nature. Those are my tire swings. It's what I call restorative rest. But we also need the second type of rest, which is our star time. It's contemplative rest. It's time under the stars to get in touch with what we're hearing inside, what the voice on the wind is telling us, what we know to be true about ourselves. We've got to get still. I do meditation, I do prayer, I do journaling, I take nature walks, I do silence retreats, I do time away for just me. These are all things that allow me to kind of let down and move into my star time. And I literally love laying under the stars too. Just sneaking out at night and just relaxing. I've got a chair on my porch that I just love watching the sunset and watching the stars come out. This is what we call contemplative rest, and that's what I call the star time. So in my work with people, it's helping them understand how to recognize what they need in order to address the depression or the anxiety or the anger or the frustration or the isolation, whatever it is they're dealing with in life that is making them shut down or even disappear. Many times I hear clients say, I just miss myself. Have you ever felt that? I have. I miss some of the aspects of me that I really enjoy. Typically, when I see that happening, I feel a weariness and the fatigue, frustration, some of the depression, anxiety. These are things that start flagging me that I've lost my tire swing. I have too many bracelets that I'm trying to manage. Sometimes even it's not enough. There's no bracelets on anyone's arm and they don't feel the purpose in their life. So one of the things I'd love to highlight is bracelets aren't good or bad. It's recognizing what it is that you're saying yes to. And really, who are the givers in your life that are supporting the bracelets that you want to be wearing? And who are some of the givers in your life that are trying to give you bracelets that you don't want to be wearing? And they don't care about your tire swing. They don't care about your start time. So I love stories just because it makes the complex simple. And I think I learned that as a teacher with young children, the young minds. I loved watching them make connections with simple stories. And the bracelet is one of the stories I've written just to help my clients of all ages be able to connect with a language that helps them discover what it is they need in order to increase their fulfillment in life, but really to have more peace in who they are and help them really understand that they have a choice in who they want to become. All right. Cheering you all on, my friends. May you find your tire swings and your star time, and may you get what you need to balance your bracelets.